I didn't think he was that old. You saw him on Unsolved... Oh, or Airplane? Those movies, right? So they all go in threes, don't they? Who do you think's going to be the third? We got June Carter Cash and Robert Stack. I had a few ideas myself, but why should I spout them? And let you phone in and give me your ideas. Jim, you're on the air.
Hi, Rick. How are you?
All right.
Okay. I called about a car, but real quick to answer your question, I think Bob Hope might be next.
Well, I'll put it down. We'll make a list here. 578-1100. Bob, I don't have any... Well, you know what? I do have prizes, but I don't know if I'm giving them away today or tomorrow. So, but anyway,
okay.
Bob Hope would be on my short list as well because, you know, what the heck? He's 100.
He doesn't look too good.
Well, he hasn't looked good for a while. I think he's like Strom Thurmond. I think he actually died 10 years ago, and they just stuffed him and propped him up.
And I always liked reading about cars, but I never really had a really cool car. But when I got a car this past Thanksgiving, and I just can't believe the reaction. If I come out of a store into the parking lot, and I could be parked next to like a $40,000 or $50,000 Lexus or Infiniti, but people will be gathered around my little new Mini Cooper, asking me about what it is and who makes it and can I sit in it and things like that.
How do you fit in it? How tall are you?
Oh, it'll handle up to 6'5" front seat.
That's what they claim.
Right, but that's the seat all the way back though, so you really can't put anybody in the back. I'm 5'9", and I have plenty of room.
You're not gay, are you?
Of course not. No.
Okay, well, Automobile Magazine, when they did the review on the Mini Cooper, said finally the official new car for gay people.
No, I read that, and it kind of got me mad.
Yeah, because I thought, well, what's that supposed to mean? I thought that was the Audi A4.
Yeah, and the neons, they like neons and VWs a lot, too, among other cars. But
no, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you what, thanks for checking in, Tiger, and keep it right here on the big one, and I'll tell you when we come back from the break how I feel about the new Mini Cooper, because I had the opportunity to be in and around one. And it's interesting, I guess, and of course it'll be played up big in that, and we'll talk about that, too, the new movie, The Italian Job. Why'd they remake an old movie like that? Because the old one stunk. I'm Rick Gilmour, the thinking man's friend, or tonight I'll be the drinking man's friend. Tattoos in town. All right, I'll tell you about that, too. On Cleveland's only news radio, WTAM 1100.
Rick Gilmour.
You're a big hot side.
On News Radio WTAM 1100.
He doesn't have to be a media darling.
No, Matt Underwood, I guess I don't have to be a media darling. You can hear Matt during Indians warm-up right after the 6:30 news here, right up until the first pitch at 7:05 when the Indians take on the A's right here on Cleveland's home of the Indians, of course. News Radio, WTAM 1100. Before I go back to the phones, I wanted to mention before the break, the new Mini Cooper. Well, I'm 6'3", and I'm kind of, what's the term, ectomorphic, skinny, like 155 pounds. But I'm 6'3", and I can't fit. I tried moving the seat around. I sat in one. They're chunky, you know what I mean? I'm saying the doors are thick in the new Mini Cooper, the dashboard's big and chunky, and the steering wheel's big and lumpy because it's got an airbag in there. And to tell you the truth, I fit more in the old Mini Cooper, the original Mini Cooper, the one designed by, what was his name? Alex Isaganis. The little box-on-box theory, the front box with the front-wheel drive for the engine and the drivetrain and all that, and the box in the back for the people in the luggage. But it had nice slim doors, and of course that was back in the day and age when, well, by golly, I guess if you got run into by a great big car, you died. Speaking of dying, that was something else on the table. Who's going to be the third person to go? Talking about cars, some car shows. Yeah, the third person to go. We lost June Carter Cash and Robert Stack, and someone suggested Bob Hope. I was thinking Eddie Albert. Remember him from Green Acres? He's like 98. You haven't heard about him in a long time, but he's up there. I mean, 98. Good Lord, man. It's like the man that went to the doctor. He says, Doc, I can't pee. Doctor says, how old are you? He says, 92. The doctor says, you've peed enough. Joined online by, sir, you are the editor of Cruisin' Times magazine?
Yes, indeedy. How are you?
Good. Your name?
John Shapiro, and I met you at my booth at the Cleveland Autorama. You were nice enough to stop by.
Yes, I recall you. You were wearing the yellow shirt.
Yes, indeed. Well, see, there you go.
Was that the Cruisin' Times shirt?
That was it.
Yeah, well, see, now I talked to you, and you sent me over to get a copy somewhere, and I somehow got lost along the way talking to Cadillac Mike and all them other car people I know. And
absolutely. Well, we're going to make things better. We're going to send you a complimentary issue every month to your little radio station here, and you're the only guy who'll get it.
Well, I appreciate that much.
Don't give it to any of them other guys, all right?
Oh, no. I'll take it home.
Anyway, the big thing that's happening tonight, if you want to go to a really cool car, a cruise,
right,
as opposed to a car show, two different things. One gives out trophies, and one, anybody can come. In other words, any condition car, primer, whatever.
Right.
There's two things that's going on tonight, very, very big stuff. East Lake, the blessing of the cars, where they actually have a priest running around on a golf cart blessing the cars.
Gee, is that entirely necessary?
Well, you got to have to have an excuse to get out there,
Oh, I got you. It's kind of like going golfing.
That's the mayor of East Lake puts this on. It's at the it's called the Boulevard of Flags, and you park among 500 American flags.
Is that Mayor Doyle?
Yeah, no.
I thought his name was Doyle.
It's Mayor Dan. Everybody knows him as Mayor Dan.
No, it's kind of like Father Dan, or
there you go.
or Father McBride. Everybody knows him as Father McBugger now. But anyway, that's another story.
But anyway, it's right behind the City Hall in East Lake, and they probably get around 1,100 cars.
Well, hey now.
That'll be tonight from 5 till 9. And the other one down in Brunswick, there's two cruise-ins in Brunswick. Laurel Square on Route 42. It's the place you can eat there is a Brunswick Family Restaurant. They sponsor this cruise. And then the Brunswick Rec Center, which is next to the high school. And they cruise back and forth between the two. And they're all three of those cruises that I mentioned will be starting tonight. And each one gets probably 300-400 cars each, plus the East Lake gets close to 1,000 or so.
Well, tonight's a big night for me. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in town. You realize it seems like the kickoff of summer is tonight.
Yeah, I know. And it's great weather, and then, of course, Memorial Day next week, everything will be in full swing. But if you go to those cruises, you'll be able to get the cruising times. I mean, I do a dirty plug here, but, what the heck, But the DJs all sell them. You can get them in various places. And then you can find out where... but someone mentioned that you said that you didn't want to go to a car show because you didn't think your car was good enough, or is that what you were...
Yeah, I got this old car I inherited from my brother, and I had done some body work on it about 25 years ago, and it spent most of its life in and out of storage since then, but the body work's coming out, so it's not the prettiest looking thing, even though it's probably still a 20-footer, but it's just the kind of thing where, if you took it to a show and somebody saw it this way, they'd say, gee, it'd be a nice car if it didn't have that coming out of it.
Here's it. What is it?
My life used to be an open book, and I decided to hell with that. So I'll tell you sometime when I see you at a show.
Well, here's the thing now. Let me explain to you, the audience, that there's two different things. There's car shows where everybody competes for trophies, and you're right, you would be embarrassed. Then there's cruise-ins, which are free get-togethers like we used to do in high school, near drive-in restaurants, and just hang out.
Right.
And that, any condition car, in other words, primered, we've all been there, we've all had, rust buckets, we've all had primered, we've all had them colored, different color paints while they're being constructed. So that's the ones to go to. No one says anything because they've all been there.
That's a good idea, too, because if I'm looking for somebody to fix it, well, what better way to do it than go to a cruise-in where there's people that know people, or maybe people that do it themselves, that could actually look at the vehicle right there and say, gee, I think it'll cost about this much to do it because it needs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that goes on all the time, and that's the whole purpose of it. Obviously, the fellowship, but just as far as they're just incredibly nice people. But you can go up to anybody with any car and just go right in and ask them, where'd you get that engine done? Where'd you get it painted? Where's the interior? How'd you get those wheels on? I ran into a problem with a fan. How do you fix that? Radiator problems. Everybody's like an open book, though. I mean, it's just incredible. They'll give you write your numbers down, whatever. So don't feel if it's not in pristine condition that you can't drive it.
All right, sounds good. Seeing as I just got the thing out of 2-year storage, I'm going to have to take it out in little baby steps anyway. I don't want to take it out on the highway right away. And, it's one of those cars where it's got a set of skins on it that look like they're brand new. And I start looking through the receipts, and they're from 1991.
Oh, well.
It just never got, it had maybe 2,000-3,000 miles on the tires, but I'm not going to take tires that old and take them out on the highway and do 70. I don't care if they look like new or not.
Well, I will... By the way, I will put this magazine in the mail to you, so then you can browse through it. You'll find, all the advertisers are, if they can't help you, they'll put you somewhere that you can get help. And but if you can get off and get a chance to go out to Brunswick or East Lake tonight, there's a big show tomorrow at the Metro Burn Unit show, which is the Chevy Boulevard next to the Chevy plant in Parma on Park Road.
Yeah, someone called about that earlier.
And that is an incredible show to help the Burn Unit. It's a charity show. That's a car show, but not that you can't come as a spectator. But it's a great cause, and that's kind of like the coming out party for all the cruisers, car collectors. Everything, you'll see everything, antiques, classics, hot rods, street rods, drag cars, whatever. I mean, just that's from 9 till 4.
All right.
And we'll be there with magazines, too, so stop by and say hello.
Thanks, Chad. Is that pronounced Shapiro or Shapiro?
Shapiro. Adam and Mark all pronounce it wrong.
Okay. Oh, like Adam Shapiro? Yeah, he's called her before, and I thought, how do you decide whether it's Shapiro or Shapiro? I always thought it was Shapiro.
Yeah, it's just that way. So I mean, they're wrong, I'm right. What can I tell you?
All right, well, thanks, John.
All right, man, thanks.
All right, you're more than welcome. Appreciate that. Yeah, well, that's John Shapiro, not Shapiro, from Cruisin' Times Magazine, and that's, I guess, what you want to check out. And I guess I should not be embarrassed to take my car if it's got a little rust here and there. It's not like it's a rust bucket. It's just, it would look so much nicer when it's fixed, and, of course, I want to fix it right. You don't Bondo it up again. You cut it out, and you put in metal patches. I'd like to hear from a cop today. I know it might be tough because they got this thing called the tattoo. I don't know why they call it that. It's the Cleveland Police Memorial Weekend. Maybe I should head down. I got a full plate. I'm leaving here and taking my dad down to church for a spaghetti dinner, and then I was thinking about heading down to the Zone Car, which is cops only. But a buddy of mine's a cop, and he's probably going to be down there, and I'll just say, I'm waiting for Bojo, the guy that plays the bagpipes, that kind of thing. They usually don't even ask because people come in from cops from everywhere, and I know enough of them. It was funny because a buddy of mine said to me, look, if you're going to get down there, don't tell anybody you're from the media. Oh, they hate the media because of Carl Monday, I guess, has burned a number of cops over the years, and they just don't like him. And I said, I think I'm cop-friendly. I pretty much support the police. I think the last time I badmouthed anybody was the chief of Parma for driving a BMW convertible. What was that, 5 years ago? Brett, you're on the air.
Rick, how are you?
Good.
Good. Hey, listen, I got your third person that's already died.
Hey, we got June Carter, Cash, Robert Stack. What, they've already died?
No, Dave DeBuscher died the other day. One of the 50 all-time greatest basketball players from New York Knicks.
Yeah, well, I was thinking more like the entertainment industry, as far as like June Carter, Cash being in music and Robert Stack being in TV and movies, and someone said Bob Hope, and I was thinking maybe like Eddie Albert because he's ancient.
Well, how about Susan Sarandon? Her movies have been so much bombs the last couple years, it's just inevitable.
Well, you're Susan Sarandon. You know what? She's too terrible to die. She'll be around forever. Tim, you're on the air.
Gilly, how are you?
Good. Yourself?
Good. Is this the all-new Gilly that won't expose his vehicle?
Yeah, the all-new Gilly that is tired of exposing his life and wearing everything on my sleeve because, you know what? People just don't need to have that much information, do they?
Nah, I guess not. Hey, listen, that tattoo that you were questioning, that's, it's an old Gaelic party. It's got the bagpipers. I think New York and Chicago are both in town. There's a group from Toronto that's in town. And, if you like bagpipe music and that kind of stuff, that's what they do.
And this is for the Cleveland Police Memorial?
It's the Cleveland Police Memorial Society is the one who puts it on, and the Cleveland Police Pipe Band's there, and usually the fire department band, and it's a pretty good time.
You a cop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was down last year at the Zone Car, and the place was packed.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of the few places around that you can see the New York and Chicago bands there together, and the New York band's got some pretty good history to it. It's been around for a long, long time, and with the tragedy of 9/11, it's brought everybody much closer together, and as far as the police communities go, we don't stretch out 700 miles anymore. We talk to these guys all the time, and it's something that we look forward to get to see each other, guaranteed pretty much once a year. So it's a really good time.
Last year I was down there, I bought one of them shirts, them baseball jerseys, the CPPA, We Will Never Forget 9/11.
Right.
I don't wear it very often because people look at me funny, like, are you a cop?
Well, in Washington this weekend is the National Memorial is going on also. So, it's like 50 times the scale of what's going on here in Cleveland and Washington, where the wall for the law enforcement officers that have been killed. The wall is there, and it's got everybody's name on it. And thankfully, I don't think we put anybody's name on it this year. But in the past, since I've been on the job, I've had Hillary Kudnick and Rob Clark and Wayne Leon. And we go and look at that wall, and it's a real eye-opener and a real, not to put everybody on a downer, but it just really, it makes you realize how lucky you are to get through your career without going through one of those experiences.
What district are you in?
I'm downtown now, but I spent a lot of my time on the east side.
I went to school with a guy who's, about my age. I don't want to give his last name. His name's George. You probably remember him. He was on one of those old episodes of Cops. He worked 2nd District. He was one of the guys that had to go in and get the old drunk that was yelling Geronimo with his pants around his ankles out of a bar.
I know both of those guys.
Yeah,
were there.
I went to school with George, and he calls there occasionally, and he says, just call me George. You don't have to mention the last name. I said, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But anyway, yeah, well, like I say, it's a lot of folks. Some folks just can't get to Washington, so I suppose it's important that they do have this here in Cleveland.
Right, and a lot of people don't know, but there's also a memorial in Cleveland that's on Lakeside, right as you're walking past the old stadium, into the new Brown Stadium there on, I think it's East 6th Street there, as you're going down. And there's a memorial there that's got the names of the policemen that have been killed, and a lot of people go and visit that.
Would that be West 6th?
Yeah, probably West 6th.
I'm just trying to do the logistics on the old stadium, and I'm thinking, as
you walk down that hill there. Right next to the county building, and that has been put together in the last 10 years or so, again through the Police Memorial Society, and one policeman in particular that I know that's put a lot of hard work in that. It's phenomenal that that these guys have put this thing together and have a place where people can call on guys.
Well, I appreciate the info, Tim, and be careful out there.
Thanks.
All right, yeah. It's important that you remember that there are folks that go to work every day that wonder whether or not they're going to make it home at night. Keep that in mind when you go to your job. I sit on my ass and run my mouth in front of a microphone. I'm fairly certain that unless I get stuck in the parking lot on 77 in Cuyahoga Heights, don't go there either way, south or north. But anyway, consider that and pay homage to those who have given their life to protect us from the bad guys. All right? Keep it right here. Important words on the big one.
Do you have any more?
Sing along at home. Well, I'm sorry, I guess there's no words.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
Yeah, well, so just hum along at home then. That's okay. 578-1100 and the 216 area code's the phone number here. Broadcasting live from the cultural void of Independence, Ohio. Taking you right up to Tribe Talk on the big one. Right, big voice man? Who am I and who are we?
The Rick Gilmour Show on News Radio WTAM 1100.
The toll-free 888-723-WTAM. Unless you're Dick from Dayton, don't call. No. I got a card from one of our listeners. I thought he was criminally insane. Lord Apkeen, you saw it. Could you make head or tail out of anything? Anything on that card?
Neither good talk show host, Rick.
No. There's stuff written sideways. There's stuff written top to bottom. There's scribbles. If I didn't know who it was from, I would be afraid to open the envelope.
Although he did mention quite a few times that he was your number one fan.
Yeah, number one with a bullet. That's what I'm afraid of. And get these number one fan a million times. He can't be. I have other fans. Could he really be? Could one person be my number one fan? Maybe my mom is my number one fan.
She send you cards that says so?
No. My mom sends me cards on my birthday, which is the actual Memorial Day, coming up on May 30th. See, so See, if you're really, really old and you're not feeling well and you're quite wealthy and you're thinking about leaving your money to your cat, think of me on May 30th. Leave some money to me. I'll promise I'll give 10% to the church. How's that? I'll tithe. We were talking about cars there a little bit. I got another old car I inherited and got to do some work on it, but I'll get it going and take it out to... Where are some of these car shows at? How about some on the west side? You know, the regular one, not a car show per se, just the regular cruise-in type things. Isn't there one out there in North Ridgeville someplace or one out in North Olmsted someplace? Don't they have that one the North Olmsted firefighters put on a cruise-in? When is that? You a firefighter out there in North Olmsted? When is that? Out there at the water tower? Isn't that for a good cause, too? Isn't there one for shoes for kids out there in Brook Park or something? Where are these shows? I suppose I'll find out. John Shapiro from Cruisin' Times Magazine was nice enough to call in and say he was going to send me a copy so I'd know where to go. You know, lots of people tell me where to go. Chris, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Rick?
Great.
Good. Yeah, just, how long have you had that car you inherited?
I just got it a couple of days ago.
Did you? Got to get it out.
Yeah, well, it hadn't run in a long time, and I thought, you know, it was raining when I put the battery in it, and I'm standing there getting all wet, and I thought, I don't mind if it breaks down, but not in the rain at night.
Not in the rain, never at night.
Yeah, put it in the garage and take it out on a nicer day, and then if it breaks down, that kind of thing.
Well, I had another location for you for a cruise-in.
Okay.
They just started Thursday. They're doing it every week, every Thursday in downtown Lorraine. And it's a pretty good time. A lot of the bars and grills kind of picked up on it, you know. And
hey, yeah.
And you get live entertainment, and you're right on a lake.
Well, no, the problem is I'll get liquored up and have to drive home from Lorraine.
Well, you got to be careful.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot of fun.
Everybody out there, if you're planning on going drinking, don't drink too much, or if you're going to drink too much, take a cab.
Go to enjoy the music.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. It's really picked up, so it's a lot of fun. I like to go there just to check out the cars and stuff. So
you know what we need to do, because a lot of the car shows or the cruise-ins are family oriented.
Yeah.
Maybe you ought to get one together where it's like more wet T-shirt contest oriented. You know, kind of like boobs for beads oriented, that kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if that works.
I'll bet you there's plenty of guys out there that'd go to car shows if it was just not risque. I mean, maybe not nudity or anything, but just a little more male adult oriented and leave the wife at home, that sort of thing.
It's like, might get a lot of cars. Yeah, that might work.
Yeah, because it's like golfing. Do people really enjoy golfing, or do they look forward to the 19th hole so they can get some liquor in them?
You got a good point.
I like bowling. Could you bowl without beer? I don't think that's possible.
No, my bowling actually gets better if I drink.
Well, actually, what happens is you just think the bowling gets better, just like the girls look better at closing time. And you got to chew your arm off the next morning, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, you know.
All right, well, I got it duly noted. Downtown Lorraine, is that just it's been a while since I've been to downtown Lorraine. Does that mean I can't miss it?
No, just take the Broadway exit off of 90 and go north till you hit the lake. And it's right there.
I live on the lake. Drop in sometime.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Well, all right, well, I'll check it out.
All right, hey, thanks.
Hey, you're more than welcome. See, first off, I have to make sure that the car is capable of running that distance. Apparently, my sister-in-law hated this car, and I think my brother, I get the impression that he kept it just because she didn't like it. Oh, good. I'll keep it forever. He said he wanted to be buried in it. Well, that didn't happen. But she didn't like the car, and then he decided at one point, okay, we're going to take it to Cedar Point. And they were coming up from West Virginia, and it broke down right outside New Philadelphia. And he didn't know anything about cars, so there again, another flatbed truck to haul the car around. So I got to go through it. Older cars, I can do anything on them. They're easy, right? There's no computers. There's nothing like that. I just start poking around and going through it. Bob, you're on the big one.
Hi.
Howdy.
I'd like to comment on Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if...
You're a week late.
Today's mothers really deserve a Mother's Day. I'm not saying all of them, but you look at the out-of-wedlock births, you look at the women who put their kids in daycare and let somebody else raise them for them. And I just wondered if, maybe we should quit celebrating Mother's Day or make it like a qualified for only certain mothers.
There you go. We could have a good Mother's Day, and then we could have people that ought to have their tubes tied day.
Yeah, that's even better. That would be even better. We could have a special day for all the bad mothers out there.
Yeah, the slapper across the face Mother's Day, one of those kind of things.
Yeah, that's a real good idea.
Because there are some women out there that ought to just have, given the baby away to someone who really wants it and just kept the afterbirth.
Yeah, I think, I think that, you could give cards to bad mothers and, let them know that society doesn't appreciate them.
And send them envelopes with anthrax or some horrible thing.
Well, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to go that far. Yeah, that's too far, Rick.
We could put other stuff in the envelopes.
Yeah, sure. Ooh, I had a thought, but I'm not going to broadcast it.
Well, I think everybody knows what we're talking about.
Well, no, you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, you could. Oh yeah, there's some good ideas there. We'll save that maybe for tomorrow night after 10.
Yeah, well, that's
one of those
my
things.
Comment.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you have a good afternoon.
All right, you too. Bye. Well, there are some bad mothers out there. Like that little baby that got abandoned, left in a tire. Well, what are they thinking? What's wrong with you? You should be horsewhipped. You have a baby and you don't know what to do with it? Can't you leave it on the doorsteps of a church or a hospital? Ring the doorbell on some old lady's house and then run away, ding-dong, ditch the baby? Don't just leave it in a tire in an alley. What are you, sick? Cadillac Mike, how are you?
Hey, Ricky, how are you, buddy?
Great.
Good. What you been doing?
Oh, I'm just talking cars this afternoon, and, was also talking about, June Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's wife passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, I know.
And Robert Stack passed away, and they always go in threes.
Yeah, I know. Hope it's not you and me, though, huh?
Well, they're celebrities, though. I mean, Hollywood-type types. Well, I was thinking, we're famous in the neighborhood. We were thinking more like Bob Hope or Buddy Ebsen, that kind of thing.
Well, Bob Hope, he's one foot in the grave, the other one on a banana peel, man. He's 100 years old,
And Buddy Ebsen's like 98, and so is Eddie Albert. Remember Eddie Albert from Green Acres?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that old. That means he was in his late 60s when he was doing the TV show.
How old is he now?
Like 98.
Really?
97, something like that.
Oh, man.
No, I didn't.
You guys are talking about cruising, huh?
Yeah, we're trying. I just got another old car, and I was trying to find some place on the west side.
All right, listen, tomorrow we're going to be doing our 11th annual show for the Metro Burn Unit.
That's the one over at the Chevy plant.
That's exactly right, yes. Chevrolet Boulevard and Brook Park. Okay, it's going to start around 8 o'clock, and it's going to go, the registration till 11. It'll be $9, and they're going to have the trophies at 3:30. It's a trophy show. All the money goes to the Metro Burn Unit. Okay, they have no sponsorship for the adults. For the kids, they have everything, but for the adults, they don't. So this money is raised, and they bought stainless steel tables to treat the burn patients. They send the people that are burned to camp, and it's a lot of good stuff. Okay, so we're going to be there tomorrow. I'm going to be DJing it. Okay, so I want everybody to come out if you have a classic car. You guys I know about it. A lot of people know about it. I should come out and see it. Help us out.
Sounds great. What about some other regular weekly cruise-ins?
Right now, I'm on my way to Brunswick. I do a cruise in Brunswick, right there by the rec center. It's on 303, about a half a mile west of 71. They used to do it all the time at 303 and 71 by Kmart. So we stopped that now, so we moved it down behind the rec center, which is next to the high school.
Okay, so or as they call it down there, Center Road.
I'm sorry?
Isn't that what they call 303 in Brunswick, Center Road?
Center Road, yeah.
Yeah.
And for cars 25 years and older, all right, and it's a good time, too. We have a 50-50 that also goes to charity. They help the cancer kids in Akron, Cancer Foundation in Akron for kids. We have a lot of good stuff going on. And Sunday, I do my cruise in Berea. That's a big cruise that we do behind the police station in Berea. And
now, what day is that? Wait a minute. What day is that one in Berea?
It's behind the police station in Berea.
What day?
Sunday. I do it Sunday from 5 to 9.
And, I'm working Sundays. How about, they got anything out in North Olmsted, North Ridgeville, that area?
Let's see, on Tuesday, May 25th, they're going to be starting, I think it's the 25th, they're going to be starting one at Tony Wilma's. They did it last year. It's a good cruise. It's on Sperry Drive, or Sperry Road. It's, you take, let's see, I got to get this right. I believe you take Columbia Road, and you go past 90. As soon as you go past 90, there's a road called Sperry.
Yeah, it's the one that runs parallel to the highway there.
Yeah, go right over 90, make a right turn, and they go to Tony Roma's, and there's a cruise there every Tuesday, and it's like from 5 to 9.
Okie doke.
That's going to be a good cruise there, too.
That'd be Westlake.
That's on Westlake, right, on Tuesday. And I'm still looking for somebody who wants to do a nice Friday cruise. We need something to do on Friday.
Absolutely. That'd be a perfect night.
I need a Friday and a Thursday cruise. Somebody that's got a business, has got a nice big parking lot, okay, that's not afraid to make some money, okay? Because the people that cruise today are, well, there's everywhere from the ages 30 up to 70 and 80 years old. A lot of them have cars for 30, 40 years, you know, and they've kept them up. And now they're bringing their children with them and their grandchildren. And like my son, he's got full class of cars himself, you know, and it's good for business, so we need someplace to cruise.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike. Anybody out there is interested in doing something like that, they can get a hold of me at the radio station, and I can get a hold of Cadillac Mike off the air, and we'll set something up.
All right, Ricky.
All right, talk to you.
Thanks a lot, man. You got a good show.
All right, thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yep, my buddy Cadillac Mike. They call him that for a reason, because he drives Lincolns. No. Why would they call you Cadillac Mike? Triple Doppler forecast from TV3's Eileen McShay. See, I had an old weather. That was a bad weather. Old weather. See, this one, see, because it said sunny all day long. Well, this is updated. See, we update you right here. Cloudy out. Partly cloudy. See, not completely sunny. The low tonight near 50. And then tomorrow, cloudy, a lower 70s. Currently 69 degrees in Cleveland, 69. Listen, of course, for your Tribe Fan Fact during Extra Innings with Kevin Keene, and listen to win Indians tickets the next morning on Wills and Coleman in the morning. How about that? Just keep it right here all the time. Great seats still available for the 2003 season. Just call 216-420-HITS. 420-HITS. Johnny Cash CDs with me because I had assumed I was going to have to play him because of his passing, not hers. Unfortunately, he probably will not be long for this earth himself. They were together for something like 30-some years. Long time. Long time. Good music. She'll be missed. Rick, you're on the air.
Yeah, I was kind of busy working on my own car, and I didn't hear what kind of car you had.
Oh, I didn't mention what it was because I just figure it's nobody's business.
Oh, okay. Well, a couple cruises for you.
Okay.
You would have Eastlake City Hall, where the Boulevard of 500 Flags is.
Well,
that would be on Saturdays.
That's a long way for me.
No, you know what's going to be kind of neat about cruising? I do it myself, and the thing is, you start cruising your local areas and everything like that, and what happens is you start seeing the same cars after about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
so what's kind of neat is you go to other people's cruises or cruises further away from you.
You're right.
You see other cars. You see other cars from other states and stuff like that, and it's a lot more interesting. You get to see what other people are doing. You get some ideas for yours if you're into customization and stuff like that.
Rick, I'm down to about 30 seconds. What's the other one?
Okay, you got Annabelle's in Menor. You got Super King in Menor. Those will happen on Saturdays also. Then when there's a car show on September 14th at Chardon Giant Eagle parking lot for a competition Corvette, all the proceeds go to hospice. We do it every year. That's our 16th anniversary. And then we also have one that I'm helping to do at Chester Christian Center on 306 in Chesterland. That would be the 31st of May, which is Saturday.
All right. Check that out. A lot of information there. I'll have to replay that part of the tape and write it all down. More of your phone calls after these important words and coverage of what in the world's happening. I'm Rick Gilmour, the driving man's friend, on Cleveland's only news radio, WTAM 1100.
Rick Gilmour.
She gets too hungry for dinner at 8. I offered an order. She took the whole plate. I told her don't swim till after an hour she ate. That's how the lady, she got cramps.
On News Radio WTAM 1100.
She digs that cool, knockdown, laid-back, groovy wind in her hair. That kind of thing, you know. But she's flat, and that's that. You know, I just changed the words. Buddy Gecko, the lounge lizard, something like that. Well, talking about old cars and cruise-ins, and speaking of cars, if you're getting on 77 from 490 heading south, I hope you're patient. It's all stacked up and down to one lane for construction. They're tearing up some kind of bridge and fixing it. And if you're heading north on 77 into town and you get towards Cuyahoga Heights, start slowing down because it does the same thing on the other side, down to one lane. Now, I suppose they got to do it sooner or later, but couldn't they do it on a Sunday? Or where's everybody going on a Saturday? I don't know, but the The highway on 77 around 490 and that interchange there, it was just nothing but a parking lot. And they're talking about June Carter Cash passed away this past few days, and Robert Stack did as well. Who's number 3? There's always 3s. Is it Bob Hope or Buddy Ebsen or Eddie Albert? Or see, I was thinking of one in particular, and no one's called and thought of this particular person, and they've been in the news, not doing well, and their mama came out and had some statement to make just the last couple days. 578-1100 in the classic 216 area code. You know, good Board Op Keen, I believe we have something to give away if the person calls and guesses it. And look, I have movie passes or some such thing in there to give to them, and we'll give them something. I'll even give it away. The person's a singer. How's about that? Now, somebody called off air and said, but in the same obits with June Carter Cash and Robert Stack was Jimi Hendrix's guitar player, Noel Redding. Nobody'd know who Noel Redding was, would they, unless you're a hardcore musician or you read it in the newspaper. Everybody knows who Robert Stack is, right? Everybody knew who he was from the Untouchables and airplane movies and that sort of thing, and Unsolved Mysteries or Undissolved Mysteries. And everybody knows Johnny Cash's wife, don't they? No, that seemed pretty simple. The third person, who will it be? Could be anybody. I mean, there's a lot of celebrities out there. I would have guessed Katharine Hepburn, but I think she's already dead. You ever notice she talked like a 76 Dodge Dart cranking over? Gary, you're on the air.
Well, hello, Rick.
Howdy.
How are you today?
Just fantabulous.
Well, I called originally about, wanted to talk with you a little bit about a Hornet, but the best quote that I have heard about Johnny Cash's wife was the song she wrote that he sang in The Ring of Fire, and the line in that song was, I knew him, but I loved him anyway.
Great line.
Yeah, it was. And I am a musician, so that hit me like a ton of bricks, you know, and while I've been on hold, I've been listening to you speaking of her. So.
Have you seen the video for that 9 Inch Nails cover that he did, Hurt?
I have not.
You should see it. It's really sad. I mean, I know people that have seen it and cried, and it talks, the song, basically, the lyrics are that, you know, he's going to leave everyone that ever loved him, that sort of thing. He's going to end up hurting them in the end. And it shows his wife in the video and a picture of his mother on the wall and that sort of thing. And it's really ironic that his wife ended up passing away after open heart surgery before him because he's not well at all.
Right, right.
And his music is, I mean, this guy still spends, he said something, made a comment on TV about he spends 8 hours a day in the studio. I thought, geez.
Yeah.
And he's 70-some years old, and he's got some neurological disorder. I thought, well,
he's committed to it.
Yeah, there's a guy who truly loves his music, huh?
Yes.
And a true crossover. I mean, who else can you think of that crossed over from country to pop to rock to everything than Johnny?
Well, I don't know that he made the crossover so much as he was an icon, and therefore he could get away with a little here and a little there. But
he is an icon. He's an American treasure.
Oh, certainly, certainly. I can play maybe 2 of his songs.
I got about 6 CDs I carry around with me all the time in my bag of tricks, and unfortunately I carried them because I thought I was going to have to play them because I thought he was going to pass away.
Right, right.
But I wish him the best, and obviously it's pretty tough on him there. And you called about a 76 Hornet?
Right, but I have a guess on the third one.
Yeah?
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Oh, hadn't thought of her.
Yeah.
She's up there, too.
Yeah.
And she got in that car wreck, didn't she?
I think so.
I think her driver was driving, and I thought, you know, knowing somebody like Zsa Zsa and what we've read about her slapping cops and that sort of thing, she was probably not wearing her seatbelt.
Well...
riding around in the front seat of a Rolls Royce or something.
So, I don't know if that'll win me any tickets or anything, but I mean, that's my guess.
No. Well, what about the Hornet?
All right. 76 Hornet is what I have. This is my 3rd Hornet.
I'm sorry.
You remember the old AMC?
Yes.
Hornet?
Yes.
They are tremendous cars.
Until the front cradle under the engine collapses.
Well, yeah, the body does tend to do that. But the engine will not die. I've had a 66, a 68, and this is a 76, I believe.
The problem I had with those 6-cylinder AMC engines was that they had some sort of problem with the rocker arms and that shaft wearing out, and I bought one that somebody had actually taken a pop can and cut it up and put it in there for spacers.
Oh, my.
And, of course, I should have known better. I bought it from a junkyard. Now, those were the old days. I don't even know if junkyards still put cars out in front for sale.
Well, this 76 is a Chevy engine. It's a Chevy straight 6.
It should be a 232. Should be a damn C6.
I don't think so.
Well, they had two of them, 232 and then the other one, 258. But those were both AMC engines.
But you
well, I mean, it might have a GM distributor because they bought parts from everybody.
Right, that could be.
That's what it is, because they were an assembled car, which people aren't even familiar with anymore, but like Studebaker and that sort of thing, they would, and AMC or Nash, those sort of, they would buy a rear end from Dodge or Chrysler, you know, and like the transmission. You got an automatic transmission in it?
Yeah.
And it's called a torque command?
Yeah.
It's a torque flight. It's a Chrysler transmission.
But you were talking earlier when I first tuned in about how you can reach in there and do anything. I can actually do, you know, a spark plug change, an oil change. I mean, there's all kinds of room in there. And like you said, there's no computer, and you can just get in there and do what you got to do. And I've got to make a trip to Texas next week.
And you're taking the Hornet?
I will take the Hornet before my other two cars.
Wow.
It will make it.
Does the Hornet have air?
No, but neither do either of my others.
Oh, well, I was going to say, harumph. You know, I mean, if your other car had air conditioning, I'd say take that because, you know, it gets hot in Texas.
Well, I grew up in Texas.
Oh, well, then I guess you're used to the heat.
Yeah.
You can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
There you go. Hey, I enjoy your show, and I hope I contributed a little bit.
Well, you did. Appreciate the call.
And keep your eye on Jaja now.
I will. Yeah, she's a beauty. And if I had a false eye, I'd keep one out and the other one closed for Jaja. More of the program after these important words. What the hell did that mean? I don't know. On the big one.
Rick Gilmour.
I can tell where this is going, and you're an a-hole.
On News Radio WTAM 1100.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it? At least I cleaned it up. Sometimes I use the whole word. Not in the middle of the afternoon. And don't worry about it. You don't have to put the kids in the other room or anything like that. Triple Doppler forecast from TV3's Betsy Kling. Tonight, cloudy, low 50. Tomorrow, cloudy, high 70. Let's look ahead, shall we? Sure. Monday, cloudy. Boy, welcome to Cleveland, huh? Or Seattle or something. Mid-70s. Tuesday, showers or thunderstorms, low 70s. Sounds like Seattle, doesn't it? Currently 69 degrees in Cleveland, 69. If you're on the lake, be careful out there. Waves 2 to 4 feet, and the water temperature is still only 55 degrees. Bear this in mind. Join the big ones on Memorial Day weekend at the Tops Great American Rib Cook-Off down at the Tower City Amphitheater. You know where that is, don't you? Down at the bottom of the Eagle Street ramp. Pretty easy to find. Nice venue. I've been down there, well, it's been down there, a couple of years now, it seems like. The live broadcasts kick off Friday with the Mike Trevisano Show. You can hear extra innings after the Indians game on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, along with the golf show. And yours truly, me, I'll be down there next Sunday night. You can register to win a Lazy Boy, a reclining chair there from Basista Furniture at the WTAM Sports Lounge. People lounge in the chair, too. Usually have one of the chairs on display down there. And we find some fat homeless lady sitting there smoking cigarettes. Not usually. We shoo them away. You're home of the tribe, right here, News Radio, WTAM 1100. It's a good time. Come down there. Great big tent there and that sort of thing. So even if it starts to sprinkle a little bit or something like that, you'll be just fine. You won't melt. I was asking who the third celebrity is going to be to pass away since June Carter Cash and Robert Stack were on the list, and I said I had, what do I have to give away there, good Board Op Keen?
You've got a 4-pack of movie screening passes to see Bruce Almighty Tuesday, May 20th, 2003, 7:30 p.m. at Lowe's Richmond Town Square in Richmond Heights.
That's that Jim Carrey movie where he gets the he can act like God.
Jennifer Aniston, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, well, there's a reason to go see it
Exactly.
right there. The heck with Jim Carrey. It doesn't do anything for me. I was just looking for one particular celebrity, and I see up here on the big board, got some guesses here. John.
Hey, how are you doing, Gilly?
Are you an announcer or something?
I'd like to be on radio, but I'm going to try someday.
Hey, how you doing there, John? Tell them what they've won. What was your guess?
Luther Vandross.
Ding, ding, ding. Absolutely. That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, I used to call you a lot late at night when you're working on the big one late at night.
Well, I'm still working on the big one all over the place.
Yeah, I know you are. And I'm also a mechanic, too.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm doing a brake job right now and oil change on a 98 Taurus.
Well, that's fairly simple. Do you own any old cars?
Yeah, just picked up an old 84 Toronado, and I'm looking at picking up a 62 Chevy off my son's father.
All right, I'll consider the 62 Chevy an old car. An 84 Toronado is just an old beater car, unless it's nice.
But, they really rolled.
Yeah, I like the old Toronados, the V8 Toronados.
I liked where the speedometer used to roll as it would go down the road, it would, spin up as you went faster.
That'd be like a 66 or 67.
Yep, worked on a few of them in my day.
Yeah, those were amazingly... only General Motors could spend the money on the technology to say, okay, we're going to build a 5,000-pound car with a 455 cubic inch engine with 365 horsepower and chain drive it to the transmission. I mean, it was just... And make it so that you could go out and smoke the tires in the thing and it wouldn't break.
Yep, you're right.
It would not break. I mean, they were relatively bulletproof compared with a lot of other people's products that were falling apart left and right. Remember American Motors with their torque tube and their trunnion front ends.
Oh, yeah.
I remember going into the old Willard Park garage where there was water dripping around in the ceiling, and there were those chartreuse green AMC Matador cop cars from the mid-'70s that Cleveland bought, and the front wheels were all cocked in at the top because the trunnions were all worn out, and I thought, what a pile of crap.
Yep. They were.
That's how you judge a car. If you can make it into a police car and you can run it for 120,000 miles and then a cab company can buy it and run it another 150,000, you're building a pretty good product.
Yeah, like the old Checkers, man. Those are workhorses.
Or like Crown Victorias are now, or the old Caprices. Those were great cars, too.
Yeah.
And they're still on the road.
And they're the big cars. If you think about it, they lasted.
And they got a frame under them and a front engine and rear-wheel drive. And anybody that says, oh, I have to have front-wheel drive, you're a sissy. Only little tiny cars need front-wheel drive. Great big heavy cars go through the snow just fine.
That's right. Gilly, we got through all those bad snowstorms in the 70s, 77, 78, 79, so...
You know what I was driving in that blizzard year of 78?
What?
A 68 GTO with Mickey Thompson cheater slicks that had been re-grooved on the back.
That is awesome.
And that's what I drove in the wintertime, and they were smoother than a baby's backside.
I was driving a 65 Galaxy red convertible.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was a slick car. It was my first car I ever got.
Until the frame broke.
No, you know what?
Oh.
Ended up selling it, and I got into a motorcycle and a boat. Which I probably made a mistake. I should have kept the car.
I like dirt bikes. I don't like riding on the road because there's just too many wackos out there that they don't pay attention. They don't see you.
Yeah, well, back then it wasn't as bad, but I gave up the driving, and my other love affair is Corvettes. I love Corvettes.
You ever done a flying W?
No.
You know what that is?
No.
Flying W is when you go over the handlebars of a motorcycle with your head being the center of the W and your arms outstretched. It's also called a whoop-de-doo and a wah.
Yeah, well...
Well, the wah part is where you get a road rash and roll down the... Whoop-de-doo is when you go over the handlebars, and wah is when you go down and roll.
Yeah, and if you lived...
Dumping it. Dump that. No. You still get the prize, but you can't talk like that. It's the only word that people use. They get all comfy. They get in the comfort zone on the radio, and they think they can say the S word. And, sir, someday, if I have my way, I'll be sitting on the board of the FCC, and I'll say, this is BS. Let's change it. I have no desire to sit on the board of anything. I have the desire to leave here, let you listen to Tribe Talk. I'm going to church, to a spaghetti dinner, and then out to check out all this tattoo stuff that's going on for the Cleveland Police Memorial Weekend right here in Cleveland. Be safe, and keep it right here on Cleveland's only news radio. I'm Rick Gilmour. This is WTAM 1100.